How you like this one? And for anyone that heard Terry, my name is Tracy. We had looking clean. One more time, because we like it. Okay. Take a look now. Steady. Ready, steady. Getting a lot of wiggles. I'm not shaking it. I can check you off the main mic. For the coach's mic, are your wiggles gone? It's just, that's from a wireless mic. This is from a hard line. This is the one that's important. So you're all good? They're good in the back.
It's Big Ten time. It's different. Game gets to a different place, different level when Big Ten games roll around, and obviously these two games in early December are become very important. Everybody's going to play one at home, one on the road, and establishing who you are. It's one of the reasons we play the toughest schedule we can. Prior to that is to make sure we get ourselves ready for these games. And we get a very good Rutgers team, a team that was an NCAA tournament team, a team that returns a lot, a team that is extremely well coached, and a team that in the past we've had just battle royals with. This team is no different. Ron Harper Jr., I'm sure that it seems like he's been here forever, and an outstanding player, one of the best in our league. Cliff Omayuri is a guy that has made the jump from his freshman to sophomore year and showed substantial growth. McConnell, all those guys are veterans. Those guys are all guys that have a lot of experience. They're very good basketball players. They're extremely well coached. They're very, very tough, and one of the better defensive teams, and not just the Big Ten, but in the country. So there'll be a physicality piece that we've got to be ready for. They have great size and great length. This team is not small. They're going to play Harper at the point. There's a lot of length out there, so we'll have to adjust to that, and the game really starts when the ball goes up on the glass, because they're a team that is extremely long and athletic, and if we don't hit them, they can be very effective on the glass. So be a challenge.
How much does it change the complexion of the defensive matchups if Geo Baker is not going to play?
Gio is one of the better guards in our league. So, what they do is they get really big. His young man they've been starting 6'7", 6'8", in place of Gio. And don't know Gio's status, but it's they're a team that again just adds to that length and that athleticism. But and Gio's not small at 6'3", 6'4", so they just get even longer.
Required question about the health of the team, particularly would start with the sicknesses. Or is everybody back to health on that side?
DeMonte was out, didn't miss practice, but was not well yesterday. Hutch was out still, but was back today, his first day. And so it's the first really full day of having everybody in practice that we've had, even though we're still kind of at the back end of that flu bug.
Is there any update on Andre, or maybe can you shed some light on what the process is that he's dealing with?
It is a process, and he's out.
I mean, this team's probably dealt with more in a month than maybe last year's team did with the entire season. What have you learned from this group or about this group as they've sort of dealt with that and still gone out there and won 5 games?
We're getting better. I'm excited about you think we let one slip without Kofi at Marquette, and then we just had one of those nights against Cincinnati. It's still unexplainable that and yet it probably is explainable when you hadn't practiced and we were dealing with a lot of other stuff. But this team's getting better. This team's starting to execute better. This team's starting to identify roles better. Even though we've had a lot of guys out, we're starting to see guys step into roles and positions and identities, and we're starting to see guys blossom. We're starting to see DeMonte at so many different levels do different things, and Plummer's roles becoming much more defined, and we're starting to see Jacob and where he's getting opportunities, and so I'm liking that piece of it, because our team's really showing a lot of growth here.
Hey, Brad, with Kobe coming back and scoring the way he's been scoring in his 3-4 games, the shots seem to have opened up on the perimeter for shooters on the outside. What have you seen from those guys, and what do you think's made them successful in the last couple of games?
Well, it was one of the things we did when we tried to build this team was, we knew we needed to shoot the ball better. I've said that all summer long, was we felt like the 3-point line was something we needed to expand in our game in, and obviously, Luke, RJ, Pods, all those guys do that. But now you add Plummer, who's a guy who had 11 in a game and is a really good shooter. Excuse me. Coleman has always been able to shoot the ball. So you got to surround Kofi with that. And when we had Andre, with Dre was a guy who again could spray it and make players and open the court up in different ways. So Kofi's shown a great ability to pass it thus far. He's going to have to do that again tomorrow, I would think. But again, he's a guy that he needs to see the ball just about every trip down the court if I had my way.
Coach, a little more on Ron Harper Jr. He's kind of a unique player with his body style and skill set. What are some of the challenges in trying to check him?
Just as that, all of that, he can play the point. He can really handle it. He's got, I think he's averaging, right at 6 threes a game. So he's got great range. And he's a guy that loves the physicality of the game. And so, he bowls over younger and lighter guys. And yet you match him with the big and he'll take him out, and he's got great ball skills and he's got great range. So, he's a very difficult matchup because of that size and girth.
Coach, what are you noticing from Dre as he goes through this difficult process, and what's important, or what have you seen from his teammates as they try to help him get through it?
He's got all the support he can ask from his teammates. I think it's just a matter of, you don't want to ever see anybody not do what they love doing. And I think that's the hardest thing for Dre is he loves to play ball and he loves to hoop and he's been in great spirits. He's been a great teammate. He continues to help educate. He helps to talk, energize. We're blessed that he's got that type of charisma and that knowledge. But again, there's a process he's got to go through, and everybody's supportive of that. And we've got to just continue to be there and be supportive for him.
Maybe sound weird to ask this about DeMonte 5 years in, but does he remind you of anyone that you've had in the past, that ability to play the one on for a 5-minute stretch and then the 4 and then everything kind of in between?
Yeah, I did that with Thomas Walkup a lot. I haven't had other guy since then. That could, we played Tom a lot at the point in the West Virginia game his senior year. And, he had a big game. Just because of matchups and his ability to pass, and it wasn't just his ability to shoot. DeMonte's a lot like that, and they're different players on the offensive end, but their capabilities, their abilities to be that versatile, and we asked more from Tom from a scoring standpoint than we need from DeMonte, but very similar in terms of the asks that we're asking of him.
You mentioned DeMonte was maybe not well and still practiced, and that was him on Monday too, not well and still playing. Just how much has he been the glue that's held this thing together for a month?
He has been it. Period. We've had other guys that have fought through different things, but so not near as much has been asked. You're talking about a guy that we couldn't start the second half because he's in the can throwing up. And is mad because I took him out. I said, well, you weren't here. And he's like, man, I'm good. I'm fine. You've got a guy that's, throwing up and diarrhea and shows up and is showing up at practice and wants to help his teammates. To me, that's pretty selfless. That's pretty tough. That's what DeMonte is. And, and coach, don't take me out. Don't take me out. Don't take me out. That's, and that's his mentality. And, if I'm sick, I'm sick. I'll be sick tomorrow. I'll get over it, and he's just got that type of mentality. Not many people have that anymore.
Brad, going back to what you said earlier about Kofi passing out to the perimeter, he didn't show much of that last year. I think he actually has the same amount or more assists this season than he did last year. How much has that opened up the game for your shooters on the perimeter?
Ton. Kofi draws a lot of attention. Tomorrow there will be a lot of very, very physical tags. There will be they will chuck him. He will be physically contacted out of every ball screen. When he posts up, I would imagine there's going to be 4 or 5 guys around him. That may not mean we get him the ball the first side. It may mean a backside. It may be a high-low. It may be whatever. But when he's there, he draws a ton of attention. And, when he does catch it, he's not afraid. He's playing very unselfish. For a guy averaging, I don't know, what's he average, 25 a game or whatever. I mean, he's a guy that is playing very unselfish. If you want to set in there, that's okay. We'll let some of our guys shoot. We're it's kind of a pick your poison, and that's where we ultimately want to be.
Brad, you mentioned the physicality of Rutgers. What's key to getting your guys ready for that and to stick with it, especially the guys that haven't faced it yet?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it. We can show it on film. We hope we educate that way. We've practiced that way. I put 6 offensive guys on the court today. One of them unguarded and told him to go rebound every time. And so it was 5 on 6 on the glass. We're just trying to create ways that we can't simulate their true length, but we can sure try to do that with adding an extra body and creating disadvantage for our guys. And, you got to hit them. You don't hit them, Mulcahy, you don't hit him. He finds a way as a point guard or a 6'5" guard to wedge and get a lot of rebounds and do a lot of things. And it's not just a one-time deal. It's a 40-minute deal. And that's the mental part of the physicality we've got to understand.
Coach, I think I know the answer, but were you surprised at all about the confidence that Melendez and Goody played with against Notre Dame? And just knowing you have those 2 guys in your back pocket, does it make you feel a little bit better about the depth of the team?
Yeah, I keep telling everybody, those guys are really good players. Those guys are really, really good. And it's just the growing process that they have to go through. Every freshman has to go through. We don't talk enough about all the changes that happen in the life of an 18-year-old when you come to college. From living in the dorm to eating different, to not having mom and dad, to now basketball. And everything that they know in basketball becomes much harder because the players are much better. It's no longer an extracurricular activity. It's a business. And so all those guys are good. Their IQ and now they're starting to absorb what we teach and not have to think as much about doing it. It's becoming habitual. So when that kicks in, then you start getting really good players, and those guys are really good players. And I've been really, really pleased with what they've been doing.
Plummer's been pretty clear about he's got his confidence, his swagger back. How did you guys, after those first few games, kind of help get him back to that point? Was there anything, or is it just a matter of letting him shoot kind of back into it?
No, I scream at him every day, every time he misses. Everybody's different as a shooter, and some guys need a ton of encouragement. Some guys need 1,000 reps. He doesn't. He's really gifted, and sometimes there's various levels of excellence, and you have to sometimes, everybody's level of excellence is different. I think Jacob Grandison made 36 straight threes in a corner one day. That's a lot. That's a pretty good number. Let's put that in the right perspective. Has anybody seen YouTube and Steph Curry? He made 106. So what are you going to accept for your level of excellence? Alfonso Plummer's a really, really good shooter. And so when he misses, I'm disappointed. And I want him to be the next shot, but I don't want him to settle for feeling good about being 7 of 10 when he should have been 8 for 10 or 9 for 10. So I keep pushing him that way and challenging him that way. Be the top end of excellence. Don't just be happy with what you're doing. So I keep challenging him that way and pushing him. And he is a high rep guy. He shoots a lot of balls. So it's just a mental game I play with him, and he is very confident, and he is unafraid. But I want him to be the best shooter in school history.
How did you know he would respond to that kind of? I mean, just because you've only
trial and error. trial and error. And plus, I got tired of listening to him talk all his trash and needed to fire back at him a little bit to hip check him to see how he handled it. But he loves that, so that's something that works pretty well for him.
I know it was 6 minutes on Monday night for Omar, but are you seeing baby steps out of him in games that help you and maybe could help you tomorrow night in a physical game?
No question. He was great the other night. He played really well. Great block. He made a great rake on a drive. He was, we've been a little bit different in fairness to Omar in the last few games. We're not ball screening near as much as we were. Obviously, Dre's a big impact of that, and that's where he excels. He's elite in that area. He's getting better in his post-up areas. He's getting better at those post-up moves. He's a very good face-up shooter. But his minutes aren't he's playing much better than the number of minutes. And again, that goes back to Kofi's dominance. I mean, he's setting behind, arguably the best player, or one of the best players in college basketball right now.
We know how much the Big Ten title chase meant to last year's team. To have round 1 of 20 start tomorrow night, what have you noticed out of the guys as they get ready for that?
1 of 20. Yeah, it's something we talk about a lot. One of our goals is to win the Big Ten, and it is important. If you can get through 20 games in this league, and you come out on top, you have done a lot. That is a yeoman's job well done, man, and that's our goal. And everyone's going to get dinged. It just happens. The league's that good. The places to play are that hard. You've got to be at your best every night, and that's our challenge, and that's our goal. And winning the Big Ten is what we're trying to do here in this program every year.
Along those lines, did you get a chance to watch a lot of the games in the Big Ten ACC Challenge? And what are your thoughts on how the conference performed?
Well, I think it's shut everybody up. We had some losses early, which everybody loves to, talk about, and, this and that. I mean, I think that, I think we've shown that we're really, really good again. And we're not afraid to hook horns with anybody. And I didn't watch any of the games last night. We practiced last night. I was planning practice, watching film, and I literally didn't see any of the games till I can't wait. I heard about the 4 overtime game, but I did not see any of the other games. But again, I do follow it from the league standpoint. And again, this is going to show that this league is really good again. Thank you.